Welcome back to more Disco Elysium. If you're enjoying the series, be sure to leave a like on the channel, comment what you're thinking. I always appreciate responding to the comments. So let's get straight into it. I'm having fun, so I want to keep playing. I think I have enough probable cause now to re-knock on this door.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10.
This apartment is supposed to be empty. Did you break in here?
Excuse me? Of course not.
There's no sweet talking your way in there. Be official. You have plenty of reason to enter.
I don't need a warrant if I suspect there has been a break-in.
Oh, come on.
There's a pause before you hear the door being unlocked.
Well, that was easy.
That was smart.
The lieutenant says, nodding toward the unlocked door. See what kind of scumbag is in here. My God, a scumbag. Let me look around before I talk to her. A blister pack medicine peeks out of the box. You should take it. Looks like a fine mattress. Hypno Gamma, that will give me +3 morale. Nice. Ooh, look at those fancy shoes. +1 to indirect modes of taxation? What does that even mean? Let me take a look here. These Per and Ingersoll shoes have no lacing, but a strap and a buckle. Due to their elegant and affluent design, they have been described as the most advanced dress shoes. So advanced, in fact, that walking through the slush and mud does not leave a single trace on them. Affluent moneymaker man, I don't understand this. Is this like a thought? Yeah, there we go. Indirect mode of taxation. Bonuses from the thoughts. Uniliberal dialogue options give +1 real. Okay, I remember a few episodes back I was talking to some guy and just got 1 real out of nothing. Then I got a -1 empathy here. So some of these may not actually be beneficial to me. Learning cap for perception is raised to 5. Let me just make sure I know what I'm even doing here. Okay. I think we're alright for now. Let me talk to this lady.
Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I am not breaking in, as I have every right to be here. The keys, see?
She jingles a set of keys in her hands.
Boy, there are a lot of different keys there. More than 20 at least.
Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too?
She fumbles through her purse, fishing out a light paper-clad passport. I'm gonna go ahead and inspect it.
It feels flimsy in hand, with the words Revachol Zone of Control written under a nondescript municipal logo. There's a picture of her with shorter hair inside, along with all her personal details. Be friendly.
Nice haircut.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Midtown in an hour.
Who lived in that foreclosed apartment down the hallway?
Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. 3. We closed the apartment and planned on auctioning off the valuables, but... And again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. But Ron, when he came to close the door, didn't close the neighboring door. And there's a hole in the wall. A hole in the wall. Can you believe it? And then the tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone. The money's gone. Just like that.
She snaps her fingers.
The sum must have been puny.
Let me see. It couldn't have been that much money. These apartments look pretty shabby.
These apartments are perfectly fine. They have gorgeous architecture, a million-real view of the bay, good ventilation, neighbors, life, spark, and they are affordable.
She sounds like a true real estate agent.
I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to blossom with artists and creatives and those radio computer wizards.
It's as if they're real wizards, able to resurrect dead real estate and breathe life into bank accounts.
My money has also disappeared, I think.
Well, it does not disappear from my hands. No, I don't let it.
So wait, what happened with the wall?
Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea how we're going to find the time or resources to fix it. Both apartments are now unrentable. Both.
She's still shaking her head, manicured hands now crossed over her chest. What are you doing here?
I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place.
Reprehensible. Who lived here?
It was some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a business owner. You'd think they'd make rent. But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted, or is that it? I'm in a hurry.
That's all, thank you.
Of course.
She replies with a smile, but her eyes remain glazed over. She's been waiting for you to leave. Alright, so I've got all that. So I gotta report back to the cleaning lady here regarding this apartment.
Give me a moment.
I didn't find any counterculture people in apartment number 10. It was just a real estate agent setting up the room for new tenants.
I see. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them.
Blacks, women, and sexual deviants, that's who'll come. Clap two.
I know those types, yes. There have been some here, but they never make their rent, so they have to move out. I know their type.
She appreciates your effort to curb the deviantry and laxness.
Thanks, I'm off. Alright, so now let me go over here. I haven't gone here yet. Or, yeah, this will take me up to the balcony, but let me investigate this. Someone has torn down the wall. The sea below looks cold and winter gray. So more Nosafed, a little bit of money. An old grocery list on the table and checks. Alright, nothing else here. Time to go to the balcony then.
The streets will flow red once more, a great torrent rushing down Rue d'Esperance. You wait and see.
The girl stares at the sailboat by the pier. Her name is Cindy the Skull, dude. That's pretty epic.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
Let's start with your blood type and go from there.
Go where? Accosting a minor?
Listen to your partner, pigman. Keep your grubby hooves off little old ladies.
Despite the attitude, she puts the brush aside.
She's grown frustrated with her work and welcomes the opportunity to challenge authority in other ways. A brush? An artist? The red splatter is urban expressionism. That smell coming from her paint bucket, it's not paint, it's heavy fuel oil. Red-dyed heavy fuel oil is only used in government vehicles, or at least that's the idea.
Interesting. That was a lot of stuff there. Let me see what I want to say. Is that government fuel oil?
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock.
That's some clever cultural commentary.
You ain't seen nothing yet, piggy boo.
You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at?
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust, it's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features.
She nods disdainfully toward the woman performing maintenance on the boat docked next to the pier.
The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Rivershore. Its moneyed residents, used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques, rarely have reason to visit Martinez.
Who is she?
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to Ozon.
Do you know anything about the recent murder?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
She Kuno's older sister or something?
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
What are you doing to the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
So, you don't know what to write?
Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home and Mona was here. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cats. And my name's not Mona, so...
Why are you so committed to defacing the building?
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know, summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation.
I have an opinion on this. Want to hear it?
Yeah?
I love public art. Don't mind us. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval.
She means the opposite.
Catch you later, Cindy.
Watch your back, Ungulate. You've got eyes on you.
Okay. So... I'm actually on the opposite side of the apartment building. Okay, let me come up here. Let me investigate this. The door's locked. You can't get in. The chair's new. Someone lives back there. Take that money. Good. Getting close to my 20. Above, tarps flap in the wind. Forgotten hammers. And nails. And rust. Alright, nothing else right here for now. So yeah, let me go in here. Lots of stuff here. Someone's been sleeping here recently. Cindy? Enough coal to last several winters. Smells of chemicals. Got some pants here. +1 electrochemistry. And some good money. Alright, I'm definitely getting close to my 20. Let me take a look at this. My pants here are -1 savoir faire. And then I got the jeans here. Although these jeans look worn, the wearer must have had an ass given to them by the mighty Lord himself. That beautiful peach-shaped man-ass has imprinted itself so deep into the fabric that you can't but wonder if wearing them would start molding your own vague rear side into a more shapely form as well. Let's do it. Okay.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something, soft, yet crinkly.
Take the item out.
Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the wrapper's texture is familiar. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in sur-le-clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum, loved by kids of today and yesterday. Something about it is familiar, and not only to your fingers.
Let's take a look at this. A gleaming chewing gum wrapper found in the pocket of the laborer jeans. It gives off an ever so faint scent of apricots. Your mouth starts watering.
A crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label reads, Tutti Frutti. It smells faintly of apricots with a barely noticeable twinge of cinnamon. You feel compelled to point out that there's nothing fruity about cinnamon. It's a spice derived from tree bark.
Why do I even care about this?
Good question. There is no answer or secret phrase written on the inside of the wrapper. Yet you're drawn to it. Drawn by regret. Stop before you hurt yourself with a Tutti Frutti wrapper. Throw it away, please.
Cinnamon's not a fruit.
Can a used wrapper shrug? Seems like that's what the wrapper is doing somehow. This is not about flowers or bark. What is this about? Why are you looking at this wrapper?
I'll hang on to it just in case.
You carefully fold the wrapper into a square before putting it back into your pocket, lovingly even, despite the strange feeling of regret.
Okay, so there's nothing else in here. So, where am I supposed to go now? Let me go this way, I guess. I could go out that exit. I haven't been out that exit, I don't think. I came in the other way.
That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers, the iconography of communism, in other words. The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century and quickly adopted by Mezov and the communards during the revolution. Even today, half a century after, the star and antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, and fear in equal measure.
Why is the star upside down?
To symbolize the toppling of the old order. Also, some social democrats were already using it.
What's the deal with the antlers?
The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society that could exist in accord with the natural world, and at the same time above it.
Why white?
Because white is the color of peace.
And what does it evoke in me?
Gone. Gone is the glory of hope. Only the scribblings of impoverished students remain in dirty hallways. You are the big communism builder now. It's you or no one.
Let me heal up the morale here. So I came in through here, right? Yeah, I came in through here. I never went up this balcony. The breaker box is full of cigarette butts and electric wires. Sounds safe. A little bit of cash there. More money. Someone's growing rosemary, thyme, and a cactus. Guess let me try this door here. Just a door, nothing for you here right now. Alright, fine.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security.
So this is 28, that's where that guy lives.
Number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoker on the balcony lives.
Let's see if anyone's home. Knock on the door.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening.
He looks around, taking in the cold spring air.
We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good?
What do you mean?
The smoker on the balcony. This is why we're here, right? He might know something about the murder. So tomorrow 9 p.m.?
Don't worry. It's mostly all still here. You can remember things. You got this.
Sounds good. Tomorrow, 2100.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28. Good, let's go.
Remember, tomorrow. He's probably gone for today.
Apartment number 29. Complete silence. Whoever lives here isn't home. Can't go in there, huh? That's number 30. Voices from within, singing along to the buoyant dance track. Wonder how I get up on this side. Nothing else for me to interact with here. Alright, I'll have to remember to come here at 9 p.m. Now I can go out the other exit. I think I will do that. Inside the frame of a motorcycle in repair and the tools used to disassemble it. Nice, that looks cool. Signal blue naval coat. So +1 suggestion, -1 half-light. Compared to +1 conceptualization. This classic double-breasted coat suits everyone, including you. And if you ever find yourself battling winds in the helm of a ship, then the coat's heavy fabric has got your back. Even if moths have left a few holes in it. Nice, I like the yellow gloves with the blue coat. Cape Side Apartments. Rue de St. Ghislaine, roundabout north. So there's that wall. Okay, so I kind of just went around in a circle. I know where I am now. Let me check this out first. More magnesium, good. The belly of this boat shines like it was recently painted. Docking reserved for residents of Rue de St. Ghislaine, 33A. Shadows on the water, green plants under the calm surface. Your room in the whirling isn't much bigger than this sloop. This is worth more than you'll ever earn in all your life.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce.
She extends her hand in greeting.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbor. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Gonna shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here.
Her grip is tight and cold.
Like steel. There is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
Come on, I'm wearing big rubber gloves.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. This is a tactic.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
Do you know something about these tattoos?
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
So you do know something about the tattoos.
Better not tie the forestay to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
You're on a boat.
Why, yes I am.
She looks at the deck under her feet. Green and white sails flutter overhead. Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
The word "it" feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name.
Cool, but your boat really needs a name.
Okay. How about Cordelati 19? Why?
She taps on the side of the boat. It makes a hollow sound.
Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cordelati, and its hull is 19 paces long.
How about Dolores?
Why Dolores?
I don't know, feels pretty.
Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the factory name. But thank you for the suggestion.
Okay, but what kind of boat is it?
It's a pleasure craft. A 19-pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business.
How do you like it?
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Not a lot of people on boats, are there?
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
Wait, we're on an archipelago?
Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
Technically, the neighboring Ozone and Fas Alamer island groups are archipelagos, while La Caillou, by contrast, is a single fertile landmass, the fourth largest island in the world. It is not an archipelago.
Wait, I thought Le Caillou was one big island.
Okay, if you want to get technical, the point is we're all on islands here, and sail is still the most expedient way to get from one island to another, especially when you're in a hurry to resolve a strike.
Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat around here.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich.
Let's see. Yes, I do.
You have the guns and the ammo. Take this Clausen fiend down.
Let's talk about the economics of this boat that you're on.
Oh my, the E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class?
Preciso mundo, class war time, baby.
Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional negotiator.
He doesn't look like he thinks you'll beat her in single combat.
Then what does that say? Does it say docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A?
She points to the plaque on the side of the pier.
33A? This old proletarian haunt here? As I said, plenty of people drive boats, of all social strata.
So I wish I could change my clothes here. Because I have some that give me better reaction speed, I think. But I hate that you can't change it in between. It's a red check and cannot be retried. But I wonder if I exit out of the conversation and go back in, if I can do it. I don't know, I'm just gonna try it.
She takes a sip.
It's gonna happen.
Okay.
Something is about to happen in here.
Of course.
Nothing happens for quite a while.
They will come for my head, the arguments.
As they do.
The thoughts happen inside his brain.
Wave your hand next to your head. It will help.
It doesn't.
Keep waving your hand slowly.
My, it's as if there's a tiny spinner on the side of his head and he's reeling thoughts out.
Except he isn't.
A thought is going to come out of my head and into my mouth, and I will say it.
Of course.
Keep doing it.
No worries.
Never
We
mind.
can just go back to discussing my fast, large, interminably middle-class boat.
I misclicked there, but that's okay. Do you have a license for this boat?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly Fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass her further on this.
I think I have a handle on the boat thing.
Good.
Tell me about Wild Pines. What do you do?
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
So what do they do?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo tribes remain. She enjoys talking about the company. It would not hurt to inquire more.
How much money does Wild Pines have?
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
Wow.
20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments.
A wave hits the sloop. She grasps the mainstay for balance.
A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility.
Where does Wild Pines get all of these billions?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
It probably also helps to start out with a royal monopoly.
You know more than you let on. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo tribes have failed, or been absorbed. To survive, Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that.
What does such a huge system want with a place like this?
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners? Who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
You don't keep it moving, the workers do. The company is nothing without them.
We built this district.
She says calmly.
We. There it is. She owns up to it.
All the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, with its bastions. The plazas, Meteor and Mosaic, even some of the old street lamps have been put back thanks to the investments from the WP.
She points behind you where the seawall rises.
Before Martinez was swallowed by the industrial harbour, even before it was part of Revachol, long before Terminal B was erected here, the Pines built it as a resort for its Revacholian employees. A company getaway, for a weekend or a summer holiday. Then came the revolution. But that's another matter. I'm here to make sure the Pines can fulfill their responsibilities to the place they built.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
What can you tell me about this strike?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
Wait, what if I want to hear about trade secrets?
First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Elements. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus.
An octopus, I will slay it.
Good luck is only kept in place by the vested interests of half the civilized world, including your own.
What the ma'am means is that the Emergencies Act and the RCM both get their authority from the coalition government.
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words.
So I'll leave it alone.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike.
What is your role in this precisely?
I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
No way. She's more. She can make decisions.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Tell us more about this behemoth.
What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent organization now.
How were the talks going before the lynching?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
What are their demands?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes. Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Over-aggressive commie posturing.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board.
Most of them probably don't even know what that means.
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
The workers can't be kings, the king is king.
That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start.
What are you going to do?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
What happened to this Gaumont?
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it?
She pauses to compose herself.
Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Okay then.
Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union.
The scabs at the gate. Did you put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the Union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
It's implied she's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Tell me about this Union boss, Mr. Clare.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
He can't be that bad.
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Wait, there are two of him?
Yes. Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
What about the Union itself, outside the Brothers Clare?
The Debardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The Brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
She hesitates, looking for the right expression.
A mob. The Debardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, Detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Debardeurs Union is...
Basically a socialist mob.
Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the wolf always hungers.
One more thing, you said something happened in the elections?
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Eerie.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, man. We'll be just fine.
That's all I need here. Let's change the topic.
Of course. How else can I help?
What can you tell me about this lynching?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
She falls silent for a moment, contemplating something.
The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
That's a problem. I haven't found my badge yet.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi, from Precinct 57.
The lieutenant hands her a blue plastic bag.
And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
'Twas stolen by some artist, surely. Best to pin the blame on them. Everyone knows you can't trust artists.
Some artist type stole my badge. It was a mistake to trust them.
You mean someone stole your badge?
Her brow is slightly arched. They said it was for a performance. You know how artists are these days.
I don't, in fact. I'm afraid what I need to tell you is wholly unrelated to art. I really need to discuss it, however, with the RCM, and I need your badge for that.
Unbelievable, sire. Even the performance artists didn't work.
Remember when my partner told you I'd recently suffered from an unusual medical episode? My lost badge is related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
I could have eaten it for all I know. I don't remember anything. This world, the city, nothing.
Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of the more curious turns in our conversation.
She must have been suspecting something for a while now.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
All right, let's do this. How do I negotiate my way out of this?
She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuate.
Surely there's some other way to demonstrate our law enforcement credentials.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Like what?
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason. The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones. Or you can recover your badge, though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Excuse us for a moment, madam. Okay, interesting.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
The lieutenant's voice is hushed. How did you hope it would go?
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchmen.
Oh, so we're henchmen now.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
The company must have more ears on the ground. She could have known about my condition.
I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. I think she's just quick to adapt. She's a professional, after all.
What do you propose, that we don't investigate the drug trafficking?
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we're siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching.
We could just, find my badge.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large, and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate it. Time is of the essence.
You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months.
Let's get back to her then. Alright, I think this is actually a good stopping point for this episode. In the next one, I will talk to this lady again. We'll pick up more tasks to do. Should all be a good time. I hope you're enjoying the series. See you on the next video.
Thanks for stopping by the Renaissance Gaming Monastery. I hope you join our community on Discord and Twitter. These videos are produced with a lot of hard work and love. If you think they're worth $1, I'd be grateful for your contribution. You can send a thanks donation or become a member on YouTube. You can also support through PayPal, Patreon, or even with cryptocurrency. All links are in the description. See you on the next video.